Yo, what's goody, family? Welcome to the Devil's Advocate with Ace Anderson and Akron Watson, where we're making the best case for the guiltiest pleasure. Get the fuck out of here.
That's what she said.
Motherfuckers. Wow.
She wanted to be abstinent.
Damn.
Yeah, and we already together.
I think that's a
Man,
sign,
ask
nigga.
anybody. There are no benefits to abstinence.
This broadcasting of the Devil's Advocate is for adults only. Participant discretion is highly advised. Ages 18 and under are advisedly prohibited.
What's going on, family? Yo, it's your boy Ace Anderson and Akron Watson here for the Devil's Advocate. How you doing, Ak?
I'm good, man. Got my 2 fingers up, man.
What's up?
For 2021.
2021. 2 fingers up for 2021. What you got working? What you working on these days, man?
You mean like legally?
I guess so.
Nah, bro. I ain't working on too much, man. Honestly, I'm working on this. I'm working on a day job with a mortgage company, and I wrote a short that I want to finish. I mean, I'm working on a lot, actually.
What's the show? What's the short about?
The short is about 2 people and their thoughts. I watched a movie last night that was similar to it, but it's basically 2 people in a situation and their perceptions, just basically what's unsaid. I think the name of it is going to be Thoughtful. The trick is that I wrote a script. I co-wrote a script with a young woman, and then I'm nervous to talk about this. This is the first time I talked about this to anybody. I co-wrote a script with someone, and then we shot it. And then I told her to write her thoughts, and then I would write my thoughts about that situation, and then we would record those without hearing each other's thoughts. And so it's just called Thoughtful, just like a situation, a given situation thoughts on both sides.
When did you start writing that?
That's it. Man, I wrote that in 15 minutes, bro. Just because it's a short, man. You know, and at the end of the day, bro, it's like you just want to create right now. I mean, you know the vibe. It's like let's just get something out. And I was just talking to somebody about what we could do comfortably, especially considering I got so much experience now with filming myself because of self-tapes.
Absolutely. Yo, what's been your biggest challenge in terms of self-taping?
Self-taping, I would say, is just like everything, bro. Like, nah, bro. Everything, man. I mean, from it's just not natural for me to not be in the room with the person that I really want to be playing with, per se, if that makes sense. It's just, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things for me to overcome about auditioning for stage and making sure that all my equipment and all this different stuff is right. You know, I mean, we basically have to become cameramen, and I really feel like the people who are turning in the best quality stuff is the people who are getting the callbacks. Maybe not particularly the best performances, but you know, that's that. I mean, how you feel about it, bro?
I mean, I honestly like it. I prefer it. I feel like I have a lot of shots to get it right. You know, there's a lot of nervous energy that is involved with walking into a room full of casting directors. And my favorite part about acting is getting to work with a director. And when you walk into an audition, sometimes, like, you know, you haven't been directed yet. So I can give, you know, I can play this role 1,000 different ways, but it might not be the way that you want. I know that I can get it done a way that you'll be happy with once I hear your thoughts. But going in without knowing any thoughts is really, really nerve-wracking. So I don't really like going into auditioning. I prefer actually videotaping myself, because then I can just do it as many times as I want. I'm comfortable. Most of the times I'm wearing pajama pants. You know what I'm saying? So, because they're not asking you to see anything below, so like it's not even an issue for me.
So how you feeling, man? About do you still wanna anything today, or what you want to do? You want to just like riff a little bit?
Say what again?
I say you still want to do the topic thing.
Oh,
What we
hell
were
yeah,
talking
man.
about?
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you guys tuning in, thank you so much for watching and joining in on our private conversation. The topic for today, for this week, is abstinence. So we're going to be kind of exploring that. We got 3 segments, sex, art, and spirituality. And as we move through the segments, we'll break it up with a fun little task throughout. But yeah, so abstinence. I mean, what's your feeling about it? Just the word, just saying the word.
I mean, just off the top of my head, bro. Like I think about like 2 experiences. I think about my first experience with abstaining, which was basically virginity, which was basically celibacy. I think, which was basically the Bible Belt in Texas, in Dallas. And like, that's it. I'm from the South. And so like, I feel like my first experience with abstaining it wasn't the virginity part. It wasn't the celibacy part. It was being guilty after I had had sex the first time and trying to abstain from it at that point. That was like my first, you know what I mean? Like my first, okay, I want to do this. I'm motivated to do this because everybody in my life is making me feel guilty about wanting to do this one.
Right.
And then my second it brings to mind is just like what I'm experiencing right now, which is, I don't know if I should call it pandemic forced abstaining or like pandemic produced abstinence. I don't know. It's just like, and that's like something I have to deal with, on a personal level, not to say that I wouldn't share it with everybody, but right now in my head, I can't find a good reason to abstain, except that if I met somebody really special, which I just did like 5 days ago, and they were like, hey, I'm abstaining, or like, let's abstain, then I'd be like, all right, special person. Because I get what that is. I had to have a conversation with myself, even in my 30s now, bro. Even in my 30s right now, I had to have a conversation with myself and say, what is the real like reason for me to abstain? And then like, what is the real reason that a person would bring abstaining into a romantic situation, prior to me ever walking into the door, or maybe when I walk into the door, maybe she meets me and she likes me so much that she wants to abstain. And I know for a lot of dudes, at least some of my homeboys, not you, but some of my homeboys be like, abstain for what? If she not rocking, we not. It's just not. And so I had to have a conversation with myself, like a real conversation with myself, and be like, why would I abstain with this person, or really, why is she like what is the talent behind her asking? And your brain immediately wants to go to the negative, bro. I immediately want to go to the negative and be like, she's asking me to abstain because she just wants to see if I'll last. All these different reasons, all these negative reasons. And then I finally landed on what was probably the real reason the entire time, which is she just wants to make sure I like her. She literally just wants to make sure that my actions and my words are gonna be truthful and honest and like intentional. I hate the word intentional. Hate it. Yeah, man. I would call the last part of the segment. Does she really like me? You know what I'm saying? Or like, does he really like me? Like that's. It was like, do you really love God? And then, do you really like her? Like, those have been my 2 reasons. And when I hear, and I will say lastly that when I hear abstinence, I only think about sex. I don't think about abstaining from food, or abstaining from certain kinds of food, or abstaining from certain kinds of music, which is other versions of abstinence.
Yeah.
But so that's my take on sexuality.
Well, for me, man, like that makes sense. But for me, abstinence is more a game about the long run, you know, where just lusting, which is the reverse, is about getting the thing right now. Like, it doesn't matter what the quality of it is. I just want it right now. And men are kind of like that, you know, men, because of how we're built biologically, you know, we are, when we're horny, nigga, it's like there's nothing stopping us. And we can say, we can have a whole list of prerequisites that we need to fall in love with a woman. And when we're horny, like, all of that shit goes out the window, nigga. Like, it don't matter what she look like. It don't matter where she is. Like, nothing matters when you're really fucking horny in that mode. And so when you realize, like, what the fuck is that force that's pulling me like that, and why is it pulling me so strongly? And it's the force, right? It's the force of life. Literally, I am trying to impregnate somebody. That's what my body is calling me to do, to impregnate someone else. And so that energy is literally the force of life that's tugging me along. And I'm not pulling it. The force is pulling it, right? So I'm not in control. And once I started to think about it like that, I was like, oh, so if I can abstain, you know, then I can actually be the one to control it. So I don't answer to my dick. My dick answers to me, you know, and I actually start to use it in a way that that I use that same sexual energy to really push it in a way that will help and you know, create a momentum. Create that same momentum, but towards something positive, or maybe towards something that's a little bit more longer lasting. Because a lot of those times when I'm just horny, I'm like, all I do is think about whatever pussy is closest, you know, like that's it. That's all that matters. And so that's not really good, because the quality, you know, quality over quantity.
And so like that makes me feel like that rolls me right into that first question I got, because I've been asking people about this, you know, leading up to this show, you know, because I just was like, it's gonna be our first show, you know, we gonna have to fill up some time, we're gonna have to fill up some space, we got graphics coming, we got things coming, and so I'm trying to get the bare bones down and just be like, well, what would people even want to talk about abstinence? And so I bring abstinence up to a friend, but I bring it up to a man. So now I'm bringing it up to somebody who's in a relationship, and I'm like, do you think that there are any benefits to abstinence? Are there any at all? And like what you just said is a huge benefit, is that like it's about self-discipline. It's about like being able to have power over something that we as a country, we as a people, and we as a sex especially have given a lot of power to. Men have given so much power to sex, and then society fed off of that, or we fed off society. I don't know which. I can't put the chicken before the egg. You know, I don't know which what it is, but yeah, my cousin man is a great example. I hope he's not listening right now. I don't even want to tell his business, but basically, bro, you know my cousin. You know my cousin, man. Like, he gonna have what he want when he want it. A lot of it too. You know, he might have 2-3 people in the room. You know what I mean? And that's my bro. But he told me, he was the first person to speak up about it and be like, nah, man. Sometimes I abstain for 90 days. Because I give sex so much power in my life that I like to take that power away so that I know what's controlling me.
Facts. 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 That's a good cousin, man. Huh? He's a
I mean, yeah, man, he got some good qualities, you know, but
yes.
We're gonna talk as we talk more about him. You gonna have to make a.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the sound, so you know what time it is. It is time for the flavor of the week, baby. Yes, the flavor of the week. You know, if you know anything about Akron Watson and I, it's that we love women, and we especially love that Mother Nature has blessed us with so many beautiful colors, shapes, sizes, and especially flavors of women. And so we like to use this moment in the show to recognize some of the hottest women that we've been stealing, that have been stealing all of our Instagram likes.
Oh my God. Can I say something real quick?
What's up? Yeah.
I want to say two things right now. One is I have really been working with myself about objectifying women. So let's put that out there right now. Let's put the elephant in the room right now. I'm not trying to objectify anyone.
This ain't no
This is not objectify them.
Bro, listen, you don't have to apologize for anything that isn't true. So if you're not doing it, you know what I'm saying? There's no need to apologize. So we out here, you know, we just showing appreciation because we love the ladies, obviously. So here we go. I'm gonna bring up my screen here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, we got Act. Tell us a little bit about who your flavor of the week is.
I'm going to say two things about this woman. First of all, she's Puerto Rican, and the first woman that I ever fell for in my entire life was Rosie Perez, and I think Rosie Perez might be Puerto Rican. Anyways, she might be Dominican, but there's always been something about Dominican and Puerto Rican women that is just really, like, exciting. And, like, I mean, Spike Lee did it, okay? Don't blame it on me. Blame it on Spike Lee. But, yeah, so, like, and then also, the second thing I'm going to say is that Ace sent me his. Come back harder. But the reason that this person even caught my eyes because she was so tall, and so of course she's a model. I didn't know who she was. I just saw her and was like, oh, this would be great to like start this off. Like this is a guaranteed win for me. Right. So wait, I'm trying to get to her description real quick, brother, so that we can because you sent it to me. What you looking at her right now? Okay, yeah. Boom. This is Joan Smalls Rodriguez. You can look her up at Joan Smalls. She's a Puerto Rican model. She's an actress. In 2011, she became the first Latina model to represent Estee Lauder Cosmetics. Shouts out to my Latina friends. In 2013, she entered Forbes magazine's world highest paid models list for the first time, ranking at number 8 with over $3 million in earnings. And I mean, she's obviously gorgeous. If y'all can just like, if you got eyes, if you don't have eyes, like this is, I mean, she's one of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen. But she's also really accomplished.
Just and stunning.
She's also really smart though, bro.
But I find that to say that. I find that a lot of times, you know, it's like the super stunning women. They're like also super brilliant. Like it's really rare.
Stop looking at her.
It's really rare that you get like just super fine, and then like you're just dim with it. Because I feel like there's some about the features, you know, like if you have what do you call it, symmetrical features, then your brain works better, some shit like that. Don't quote me on that. But.
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I just feel like sometimes when you are really pretty, people will give you stuff on a platter, and it's your choice to either take that or look for more.
Facts.
And you know, I feel like a woman like this. I mean, based on like her words. Now you got to go to her page and listen to her freaking words. What she's saying is a lot different than the average Instagram model, which is another reason that I chose her. And also, she's Latina and like. Shouts out to all the beautiful Latina women, period. Yes,
and speaking of beautiful Latina women, we're going to go to our second flavor of the week, which is the beautiful, the gorgeous Virginia Sandhouse. Good Lord, I have never, like, I don't.
The first Monday of 2021.
Wow. I just can't even, bro. I don't even have words. Just
her face too perfect, man. I can't do
it. Right? Like it's like a little too perfect. Like, why does she look like like Disney made her. You know, she looks like Walt Disney had been working on her for like 36 years before he died.
Well, I think what happened was, maybe a doctor might have worked on her a little bit before he died. But that's
same difference. But I mean, like, this looks like it just doesn't make any sense, bro. It don't make no sense to me.
To me, if you want to,
and I've seen her in person. I've seen her in person, and I saw her at a club one time. I didn't know who she was, and then she followed me on Instagram. Then she blew up, and then that was it. And then she unfollowed me, and now I just
she needed to follow less people because she needs to follow less people because that's cool. That's actually a cooler thing to follow less people. But here's the thing that I want to say about this whole segment. Next week we gotta go harder than this week. We gotta go harder.
Every week is all right. Bet,
bro. It can't just be about how they look because that feels so icky and wrong to me. I can't.
Man, hey, for you, it could be whatever you want it to be, man. That's what I'm gonna say. For me, it's gonna be whatever I want it to be because it's my flavor. You know what I'm saying? You pick your flavor because you pick your flavor. You know what I mean?
Man, my flavor gotta have more than looks, bro.
Absolutely. But you see, this is the thing. I live with a queen. I live with the perfect, the best of 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 the best. So I can just go and explore, and they don't have to have all the check marks because I already got the chick with all the check marks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for those of us who don't, we are trying not to seem so objectifying because I'm really not objectifying, but
this isn't. Look, we got a comment. We got a comment from the homie. Look what he said. VinFam says it's not objectification. Look at that act. Look at that act.
Vin is first of all, that's your homeboy, our homeboy. Secondly, our homeboy we can't listen to him. Nah, let a woman come in here. Nah, man, you gotta listen to more women voices, man. For real.
Man, this is for the boys, yo. If you don't identify being one of the boys, you could get the fuck out the room.
Hey, I identify, but I got a woman on the text. She on the text, and she probably watching. So
son, you too scary, son. You too scary, bro.
Bro,
you gotta live life on the edge.
But I will say this, and I love that we're talking about abstinence right now because what I've been doing, man, over this pandemic, especially being single, is I've been looking at a lot of different women. So many different women, bro. To the point to where I feel like a lot of the women that I see on Instagram starting to look the same a little bit. And because of that, I'm starting to look a little bit deeper into like what their content is as to like if I'm going to continue to look. Because what I'm filling myself up with, my head, my soul, my spirit, and all that shit, I want it to be more than just like, oh, she cute. Longing for, oh, she cute right now is not really like, that's not really it's not sustainable. You know what I mean? Like, I can't feel it. I can't.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, I've been honestly going on an unfollow train and really reassessing how I'm using my social media. Because what I found is that the more attractive women that I follow, the less that I get done. And it just happens, and I don't even try to do it, but I'll just pull up my phone, I'll start scrolling, and then I see, oh, attractive girl. And then obviously the algorithm is just adding more attractive women. So then I get deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it's an endless hole, right? So I'm just sucked into this vortex, and I'm not getting shit done. Or maybe I went to go post something. I was supposed to be trying to post or searching on Instagram because I was looking for a specific a trend that was happening, and then I'll just get lost in the fucking explore page. And then fucking TikTok, don't even get me started with TikTok. TikTok is even worse because as soon as because TikTok is based off of like AI, so it's even more in depth than the Instagram algorithm. So if you're liking attractive women on TikTok, then your entire page, the more you use the page, the more you want to use the page. And it's very addicting. So I had to realize, like, oh, I need to just get a lot of that stuff off of my feed and like that stuff a lot less so that it shows up less. And then I can go, if I want to look at it, you know, if I want to enjoy myself and take some time to, you know, go explore the beautiful flavors out there, then I can do that. But, you know, just for standard, it's really not a good idea. So I've been having to unfollow a lot of chicks.
Yeah, man. I think that like I think that's a good thing, and I think that like I think the pandemic has taught me to like slow down, and that like a part of that slowing down process is not going in with certain like a certain type of like hunger, because if I don't go in with a hunger for how she looks or a hunger for like, you know what I mean, like it's okay to want her to look a certain way, but I don't know, man. I can't do it no more. All the Instagram models, all the like TikTok models. Like my TikTok now is like white kid dances, man. That's my whole feed is like.
Yo,
like
son.
that,
speaking of TikTok trends, yo, you gotta get on these TikTok raps with me, bro. Like, nigga, there's a lot of rap challenges and duets and shit. Nigga, we could kill that whole shit, and all it is it's just a bunch of white boys. Like, I haven't seen a lot of like niggas that's as nice as us on there. I'm like, yo, we gotta get on that shit, bro. We gotta get on that shit.
I really want to do more rapping, man. I will say that like poetry is like the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's definitely the most expressive that I can be sometimes, especially because I'm thinking rhythmically, I'm thinking poetically, I'm thinking in rhyme, and yeah, I mean, really we need to make a musical out of this whole year and some change, brother. I don't know why we sleeping on that idea.
Factorials.
But that okay, so that brings me back to abstinence and art. Like, so what's the deal? Like, are we gonna slide into the art section of the
Nigga, you moving too fast, son. Slow down, nigga. You moving way too fast. This is like, all right, I'm trying to get it up. Are you probably got some pussy you trying to get tonight, nigga?
Nah,
you moving too fast, bro. Nigga.
None of that.
We got this whole shit timed out.
Nah, man.
We didn't even get to showing our reels yet, bro.
Oh, okay. Let's.
Okay.
Are you ready? I forgot about that.
But no, what I was saying about the TikTok raps is that they're really a good challenge for you. You know, like if you want to write, if you're gonna try to like just get back into writing, it's nice because you're writing like 4 bars at a time. You know, and then you're kind of duetting with other motherfuckers, and it's only like 30 seconds, you know, so it's even less than 16 bars. Bro. Yeah.
I'm down for whatever. And you know, I'm ready to get. I feel like I'm gonna get roasted by a 14-year-old from LA. You know, like some cat in the hills, some young cat in the hills with no street cred is gonna slay me. But nah, I'm down, man. I'm down with the competitive spirit, but you know, for me, rap is very like Pac and M and Biggie and all these lyricists and all that stuff. So they were all about competition. They were all about the competitive spirit. So I'm definitely down.
Yeah, yo, that shit used to make me nervous as fuck, bro. Like just thinking about rap battling, or because I can't freestyle. Like I can rap and I can write some dope ass bars, but to do that shit on the spot, nah, son, that's not me. That's not Ace Boogie, you know.
You remember the time you took me to your college and I got roasted by that little white boy at the pep rally? One time you took me to SMU to freestyle. And this is why I don't want to go to TikTok with you, because you took me to SMU to free. He was like, come through. Everybody knew me as like this, like actor, poet, you know, like whatever. So you was like, yeah, the whole school is at this basketball game, pep rally or whatever. Everybody's in the freaking SMU Coliseum or whatever it is, and they let this little geeky boy, I shouldn't call him a white boy. Who cares that he's white? He comes up and he raps. And he comes up and he raps, and like his rap isn't great, but like he looks like he looks like McLovin, you know, from
super
like
bad
fucking McLovin. Yeah, man. And here I come in all black, and I'm like 6'1", and I'm dark skinned. I don't even go to the school. You just brought me there. I had never been on SMU's campus. I was trying to look hard. Man, I must have spit like 32 bars, which is more than the raps battle is supposed to be, man. And nobody was messing with me. The boy came back and was like, you thought that you could beat me? After that, I can't believe you don't remember that, man.
I don't remember that shit at all, bro. I don't even recall.
You don't even remember it, and that's why I'm not going nowhere with you to do no rapping right now. I need to know I can trust you.
Oh my god, that shit is fucking hilarious, bro.
I'm abstaining from following you.
Oh shit. You heard the sound, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's time for the reels. It's our reel showcase. Blow. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Every week, Akron and I will be showcasing real material because we're actors and we support actors. We love actors, you know. And we love the craft, man. You got anything you want to say about these reels, or what we about to get into?
I will also have women in my reels as well. And, I appreciate Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson for being a part of my acting reels. And nah, man. I mean, just run them to see what people think.
Shit, let's do it. Not it.
I need to know everything. Who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for ghosts to turn them to ghosts. I need to know everything.
Behold, 6 sex. To the power massage drinkers, I'm your Hennessy Black. And if you're driving old Benz, I'm your new Maybach. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Young man, you ain't jack shit.
What? Jack your cane, nigga. Jack your cane if you slur my name. You don't fuck with 6X, then you might get slain.
Man, cut that shit out.
Yo.
6, talk to the people. Tell them what we are going to see at the showcase.
Oh, baby, you already know what time it is. You know who it is and how we roll.
And I'm not wearing any panties.
Yeah, baby, we finna show up and show out. Pulling up in the new Uber Black.
How far away is it?
Should be pulling up.
Yeah, you know how we roll, baby. 6 is the best. Ain't nothing less. Yeah, I rock a vest because I got an ass on my chest. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Oh my god.
Let's be out this mud. We finna show up, baby. Woo!
Hey, y'all, how you doing? Come on in, have a seat. We'll be with you in a minute.
Snoop. Snoop got that lineup.
Shit, goddamn.
Oh, Keith.
We need 6 in that showcase. Man, it's a little too late for that, all right? Man, the last one is filled and it's lined up already, but I can put a word in for you.
Don't be good if Billy thinks you ain't want to hook this up.
Oh, you remember Billy, right? Yeah, see, all you had was a little YouTube channel till he started sending artists your way. Same way it turned on, it could get turned off.
Look, ain't no need for the tough talk 6, all right? Look, it's Big Brisk Showcase. Man, so if y'all got a bone to pick, you pick it with her.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. That was from Low Key 2020. That was a film we just did in Dallas. Shot it last year, actually, and the end of 2019 we shot, and they just released it a year later in December. So yeah, it was a fun experience, man. The shots look fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know where I'm not sure about the where the movie is going, but you can go to lowkeymovie.com to check it out if you want to see the whole thing. Yeah, yes,
bro. So many faces in there, man. A lot of good Dallas actors in there. A lot of good folks. Like,
hell yeah.
Good people on and off the camera.
Word, yeah, man. It was a good vibe. I think that was the whole point, you know, just to showcase Dallas talent, and they really did it. It really worked. Put it all together.
So what's next, man? What's good? What's up? What's what we doing?
We got the rundown right now. So if you're just tuning in, we are doing the Act the Real showcase right now. And Act will just jump right into yours. Let's do it.
Oh shoot, I didn't think we was doing mine. All right, bet. Show me what you got. What is that?
That's a moment for us to.
Taught you how to do the WAP or the Roger Rabbit, but you look like a damn wounded animal.
Lucius, we are so honored to have you here. Why don't I have you go talk to an AD about some of these suggestions?
Man, don't be trying to placate me, having me talk to your assistant. I invented that move.
We can make these superficial changes later, after rehearsal.
No, what's superficial is your vision. Apparently, you don't understand that Empire was built on specificity. I don't know what you were thinking. You cannot be giving Cookie credit for my idea. No, this is out.
What was that?
You can't say any of that without somebody losing their life. And as a matter of fact, how the hell did you hear about Philly Street?
He's one of the game's biggest what-ifs. I can't take him out.
Man, ain't nobody coming to hear about no Philly Street. They want to hear about the Empire story. I mean, they want to hear the flesh and blood intone from me. I started selling drugs when I was 9 years old because I needed to eat.
But it was the music that saved you.
Now you're on it, so I'll give you the new notes next.
I am so happy you could make it.
Anyone with a
I
link to
love this
Lucius'
jacket.
classmates for a valuable resource?
Tell me about the pages Lucius had you leave out.
I thought that they added flavor, but he felt that they distracted from the story. That's what you get when the protagonist.
They ain't let you keep that shit?
Yeah?
Oh no.
What other juicy flavors did Lucius want you to leave out?
I'm not sure I should be sharing script revisions with you.
I am one of Lucius's oldest friends, and I'm part owner of Empire. I just want to make sure your story is accurate. If you want me to tell Lucius you wouldn't play ball, no problem.
Okay, then. There is something I'm trying to get to the bottom of. There's an old rumor about Philly Street getting robbed right around the time Lucius' star began to rise.
That's not exactly a smoking gun.
This is an old basement tape of Shine freestyling about the robbery. It never
Get
came
out
out.
of here.
Wow, you really do your research. I mean, we just all thought that nonsense was buried years ago. Can I borrow this tape? And you let me read the pages, too. Just see if it sparks something that could help you.
You tell Lucius that I play ball?
Of course I will. You know, you are really talented. Okay.
Go.
What's the
Oh
problem
my
now?
God, there's
Same
more.
problem.
Jesus.
Y'all keep changing the script at the last
So
minute,
much.
and I keep telling you it's wrong.
According to Lucius, this is how it happened.
My mom would never co-sign my dad that way. She got a lot of opinions, but she makes the music great. And this chick ain't got no swag like my mom.
Excuse you?
Lil Kakeem, say what's in the script and let me, the director, direct. What I say goes. All right, everybody,
Yeah.
back to one. Back to one.
That scarf was longer than my body.
This is a Casio CC3000. It's irreplaceable.
Got fight choreography
I'm
and
not
shit.
working on this script until you get it right. I'm a lion, so what I say goes.
What do you mean by remove her?
Oh my God.
Some contractual issues. Okay, well, what about the scenes we've
You cut
already
this
shot
together?
with the actress playing Cookie?
You just gotta call the character something else. I don't know, man.
Well, listen, it's a historic biopic. The public knows there was and is a Cookie lion. That's like saying we're gonna take the music out the movie.
You got any of my music queued up?
Taraji fucking screaming at Akron Watson everywhere. Woo!
Yeah.
Too long. That is. If an actor is watching right now, boy, man,
That was gonna be
don't
my
make
first
your stuff
critique.
that long. Woo!
Nigga.
I ain't even know. I ain't even watched that thing before I put. No, I mean, you know, man. What can I say, bro? I just. When you need it, hey, that's a whole nother comment. We got to do a whole show about like, you know, the business of acting, bro. Like the business of it. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Vin
we really gotta.
Vin said, did they give him a scarf collection? Your character
Vin,
had.
I gave them a scarf collection, sir. But no, Vin. So like the clothes are just exceptional. So there's so many different ways that you become somebody in the just the hallways of the old empire. I mean, it don't exist. Empire is not even coming on anymore. It is now gone. But after 6 seasons, they really had a lot of options for like how they could make me look. And I don't know that they even had an idea for my character. So I really feel like there were like 15 options, brother, and they all had scarves. they were all different shapes and colors and sizes of scarves. I had to take some scars away. I had to be like, man, can I show my neck? You know, or like, can I show my chest or something? Can I wear a V-neck? Yeah, man, they was trying to cover me up. But you know, it's partially too because everybody on the show is so attractive, and you know, I'm mildly attractive. So I was just trying to fit in.
Yeah, well, one thing I always notice, man, whenever I see my friends on TV, their skin looks so perfect because the makeup is like good, you know, like the skin is just like boom. But it's obviously it's all makeup. But yeah, just seeing
What makeup, nigga? I just went to sleep that night. I was just getting some rest.
I woke up like this. Yeah, man. So okay, so your reel's too long. Any other critiques about it?
On my reel, I will say that like it needs to be, first of all, it just needs to be more concise about who the reel is for. There's so much of the other characters in my reel, you know, which I want to dig deeper into, and when we actually do talk about this more. But like, yeah, man, it needs to be showcasing me as much as possible, and a lot of my scenes are with some heavy hitters in that show, and so really you get like a few lines with reaction shots than anything else.
Right.
So So I need to figure out a way to, and at the end of the day, just like all the other things in my career, man, I just was kind of, shooting in the dark, trying to make a reel. I don't really know how to make a reel. So
There's also that.
So did you make that yourself? You edited that yourself?
Yeah, I got as much footage as they would send me from Fox, which meant that I had to email the people who hired me for the show and be like, hey, I had so much fun with y'all. Could y'all possibly send me the footage after you air it, which was like 3 weeks later? It was a nightmare. But once they send you the footage, really they just send you a big thing. They just like, here, take all of this with all your face in it. And so I kind of had to cut that together. I cut that together myself. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that actually, what I showed wasn't necessarily my reel. That was just clips from the latest film that I did, and I didn't even cut it together. The director, Rock White, cut it together and just sent it to me. It was actually a gift. He literally just sent it to me yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shit! I guess I could put this in here instead." Because I have another acting reel that's just like, that's what's on my website, that's what's on my YouTube and all of that stuff. But yeah, I probably wouldn't show, unless I was trying to show a specific character, I probably in my reel wouldn't show one episode of something, like, or one character. Like, I would want to show several different, like just a variety, just because I want people to see what I can do. I don't want to get pigeonholed as an actor in any regard, because especially as a black man, I feel like there are so few Jeffrey Wrights, when it comes to black actors. People like, and when I say Jeffrey Wright, I mean an actor who is extremely versatile, but is also black. Because if you look at Idris Elba, if you look at Denzel Washington, if you look at even Will Smith, like, a lot of them play the same kind of person, and like they're the hero. They're just the same cutout. Whatever that is, they play that trope. They don't typically play like the best friend or the geeky guy. They won't flip the switch. But with Jeffrey Wright, he is by far one of my favorite, like one of my top 5 actors. Just because he's so versatile. But just following his career, I want to be like that. I want people to see me as, the underling. I want the people to see me as the I could play a king, I could play a drug dealer, I could play a businessman, I could play a cop. So
I will say this though, man. Some of my favorite black actors right now are pretty versatile. One of them, Stephen James, man. I don't know if you've seen Homecoming, but he literally plays 2 different people in between the first and second season. The first season is so well played that by the time you get to the second season, it's like a completely different show, man. So I mean, Stephen James, man, is one guy that I've seen play and like Yahya Abdul Mateen. I had to Google him and make sure I said his name right. The guy from Watchmen, the black guy from Watchmen, is another actor that, like, extremely versatile, man. I've seen him play a crackhead. I've seen him play gangster, of course. I don't know what he was in Watchmen. I guess he was a god. You know what I mean? And now he's about to play. I loved him in Us. I don't know if you saw Us.
Oh yeah.
But he's the dad in Us. The underground dad. He's the one who takes his daughter to the carnival, and then she gets lost, and then the rest of the movie he's playing the dad as the which is basically kind of him playing a crackhead again. But yeah, man, I'm starting to see a lot more versatility, but I think that just comes from writing. I think that comes from casting. I think man, if Google black casting directors, you might get 5, you might get 6, man. And so it's also a matter of interesting characters not being seen as brown, you know, to where like even though we may be versatile as actors and singers, you know, because I've met a ton, man. Leslie Odom Jr. is one of them. Cynthia Erivo is another one. Just a few people that I can think of off the top of my head who are so versatile, but are just now today starting to get their opportunities to be like, nah, yeah, I can play Harriet Tubman, but I can also play the gangster girl from down the street. I mean, like, I feel like it's coming, but it's coming. It's coming with that is George Floyd. You know what I mean? It's coming with the same push. It's coming with the same push that it. You know what I mean? It's just like we are pushing in so many different directions, bro. Trying to get like heard, seen, felt, understood. And you know, it's the first time in a long time that I can say that like we are more popular than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, in my lifetime, I mean, rap has always made us popular. Our culture has always made us popular. But now it seems like we are so cool.
Yeah.
You know, that they are, they're giving, I think, I say they, I mean, I don't know who they is. But like, we are taking more opportunities.
Correct. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. So yeah, man, I want to ask you in terms of those opportunities in creating, how do you find that your sex life is like parallels with it, or how do you find that, you know, how do you find your sex life, you know, changing with how you're creating or where you are in your creative life?
Well, it doesn't fit, bro. It doesn't fit. I'll be totally honest with you. It doesn't fit. It probably has a place that is more disciplined than I would like for it to be, and therefore it feels like it doesn't fit. But when I'm working on all cylinders, bro, when I am reading acting books, taking acting class, doing my own stuff, writing music, I mean, that's 18 hours out the day, bro. That's 16 hours out the day. That's this many hours out the day. And like, if I were married and had a wife at home, then no shade, but then sex would be like something I could enjoy. You know, sex could be something that I could stop in the middle of enjoy, but I'm still asking what her favorite color is, bro. You know, I'm still like trying to take her out to lunch, and right now sex doesn't really fit because a big part of my life is working the hardest I possibly can and then trying to get to know someone on the side, and getting to know them sexually will probably be the last thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who I meet, no matter what it's about. And I'm just not the kind of person to, and no shade to sex workers, but I'm not the kind of person to hire a prostitute. I'm not the kind of person to just have like a little bit of side sex. I've done it, of course. I want to do it all the time, bro. Like on the other hand, I think about sex probably way more than I need to. Especially when I'm busy. But yeah, man, it's sort of like it's a dream right now. It's something that I want to have on the other side of all this work. And I've been here before where it was like, if I can put sex to the side, then that leaves me more time to keep grinding towards whatever my next level is.
Yes. And then you get all the sex, bro. That's what it's, yes, because that's heaven. Like you have to build it, right? So if you say, let's say, to me, let's say if you want to, people say heaven is the vagina, right? So let's say heaven is the vagina. If that's where you want to get to, you could either, you know, make some cheap moves right now to get some instant pussy, or you can build the empire, build the dreams that you want to have, right? Build the dream that your queen lives in, right? Because your dream, if it's your dream castle, if you're building your dream life, then that castle is going to be empty without a queen. So now the universe is going to decide, it's going to be like, wow, this dude has built this entire thing, has used all of this energy, the energy of life, the force of life, that your God-given force of nature. You're using that to now create something huge that can facilitate not just one queen, but thousands of queens, millions of queens, right? And then you want the top queen out of all of that. So the universe says, all right, we have an empty castle. We need to put a queen in it. And then you're granted, but only because you've mastered the gift of life, right? The gift of life. We humans, we forget, man. Like we walk around forgetting that we're gods, because it was so clever for the God of the universe to put a bunch of gods together, because then they don't know that they're gods. So we all walk around on this earth not recognizing that we have this immense power, and we've been given the force of life. So now we can actually create. We know how to do that. We know how to make life. And it calls upon us every day. Make life, make life, make life. That's why we're so, we want sex all the time. That's what we want to do. Create, 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 create. But if you can master that creation to where it's not the master, you are. Then once you become a master, you prove that you're a master of that incredible will, the most powerful force on earth. You are a master of that, then you're granted the prize, right? You got to kill the dragon, then you get the virgin in the castle. You don't get the virgin in the castle, then you can go kill the dragon, right? That doesn't work like that. You have to figure out how to master yourself, master your own individual. What is that? What can I do? Where are all of my hangups? And then if you're on that path, it's only necessary. Like it's necessary. It's necessary for you then at that point to be given and provided a. Oh shit! Did my mic change? What?
I think so.
What?
Oh, I wish I could keep going with what you were saying, but it was really profound, and so it should live in your spirit.
Yeah, nah. But yeah, man, it's about when it comes to creativity, because I hear you even in how you talk about it. It's like, a part of you that really fights this idea of abstinence, and it doesn't have to be a religious thing. It doesn't have to be something that you have to do. In fact, it won't work if it's something that you have to do. It works if it's something that you want to do. That's the only way that it works. And
yeah,
it sucks, because that's the caveat. But you have to want to master that energy. Otherwise, it has control over you. And that's the other thing. If you don't want to do it, you just got to come to terms with the fact that it's controlling you. You are being controlled. And if you're okay with being controlled, then continue. Do what you want to do. But if you want to be the master, if you want to actually create a dynasty, if you want to create something worth being here, right? Like if you want to leave a legacy, then getting that shit under control is really, 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 really important. Because here's the problem. Here's why abstinence is so important and why people should practice it more often. And abstinence is the act of refraining from sex. Celibacy is more of what I'm talking about. Celibacy is abstaining for sex for a period of time, for a specific period of time. So I agree that I'm not gonna be sexual or think about sex or need sex because for this amount of time. So I will abstain for a time. And And it doesn't have to necessarily be religious. It doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be religious at all. It's important though to maintain and practice abstinence and celibacy because when you if you don't get that under control and you just start going out having sex willy-nilly, there are a lot of consequences for unthoughtful sex, right? We know that. And what's the number one? Kids, children. That's the number one. Why is that the number one? Because you're making a god. You have to recognize you're a god. And when you make a child, you are making another god. So you are bringing now another powerful individual. And this person could be Hitler, or this person could be fucking Jesus. And it's on you. If you don't have your life together, if you don't have yourself oriented, then you're going to have a kid not thinking about it. And you cannot afford to have a kid that you haven't thought about. Because that's a god. And that god is now going to wreak havoc on the rest of the world if you're not careful. So all of your issues, if you're a drunk, if you're an alcoholic, if you're if you're addicted to drugs, and then you're going out and having kids, you just fucking having sex, whatever. All of your issues, all of your ailments, that's going to go into your kids. Everything that is a problem, now you're just creating clones of yourself. So because you haven't gotten your life together, and you don't want to get your life together because you're ready to have sex, now the world has a bunch of Hitlers and a bunch of fucking Ted Bundys and killers and you know, all types of shit like that. So that's why abstinence is so important. And people don't really recognize because they don't see, we don't remember that we're gods. We are gods. We are literally, we can manifest. We have the power, especially as artists, we have the power to see things in the unknown that don't exist and then extract them, speak it, use words, speak it into existence, and boom, it's here. Like, we have that power. And we literally call them spells because we spell words, right? So we cast spells with our words. And we create like gods. That's what we do. And so when you build, when you create, when you have sex and you impregnate someone and then they birth a child, that child will grow up to be as powerful as a god. And they will do what gods do. Whatever they want to do. Right? Whatever the world creates, whatever the world builds. So it's really important to get that in line, man. It's really important.
Yo, man. I don't agree with half of that. Or not even like 30% of it. But it was really like eloquent. It was well said.
Okay. I want to hear your the reverse, your rebuttal.
Well, it's not really a rebuttal as much as it's just more like it's a different framing. And you know, being a Christian and being raised in a Christian household, I think differently about God, and so I can never really, like, when I hear that I could be a God or that I am a God, like, it's hard for me to like really like swallow it. You know, it's more like it's a connection that I have to God that allows me to understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But a big piece of it feels like overstepping something that is been true to me and true to my family for so long. And there's been something really like humbling about every level of moving up. Every level of success has come with a and it usually comes before. usually things have to be like stripped away in order for me to reach my next level, and that never feels like it's in my control. It feels like the only thing that's in my control is me, is that all I can do is control myself in these set of circumstances. And if I am the way that I was taught to be, which is Christ-like, being a Christian, um, then then everything is working for my good. The Bible talks about, good things come to this person, and this person will inhabit the earth, and I can do all things through Christ, and and all these different scriptures. It's empowering in a way, but what it's saying is like, there was a person who lived this way, and if you will act as him, then, and in line with those teachings, then you will succeed. Now, your version of success may be skewed by the world, and you may not really know what it is, but if you seek me first, then everything else that you really desire, or you should be desiring, is going to be added unto you.
Mhm.
So I'm not trying to preach as much as I'm trying to be
Facts.
like, within the confines of that thinking, as I'm like, I mean, first of all, sex is for procreation. It's not recreation when it comes to Christianity. It's only for procreation. So there's nothing really to enjoy unless you married. And then the I think the scripture is like the marriage bed is never defiled or something like that. Somebody would have to fact check me on that. But like, basically, once you're married, in the right confines, you can do anything in the bedroom. So in a way, it is an agreement that like certain pitfalls, like having children out of love, can be avoided if you will wait until marriage. Certain certain STDs, that you might pick up because you're just having sex with random people versus just having sex with one person. A level of self-discipline that comes with that mentality. So it's not very far off from what you said, but there's huge amounts of humility in me that's just like, dang, I don't know if I can look at myself like a king for sure. I don't know if I can just look at myself like, because there's this omnipotent, perfect being that we see God as, and that we see Christ as, that for whatever, and that's just one piece of it. There's some other pieces as far as like having kids and like that like could be addressed too. It's like raising and rearing kids is a very family oriented thing in Christianity. It's about the man, it's about the woman, and then it also, the Bible also gives responsibilities to the child, and how they and how you're supposed to teach them. But then, when you start talking about the Bible and you start talking about Christianity, I also be bringing slavery into it and being like, well, we didn't really get Christianity until X amount of time when we were slaves, and like, what was the real religion before, and what, like, how should we be? And then you start talking about hoteps and all these different things. And so, like, as far as like religion, abstinence can be a little confusing. I know, especially for younger people. I don't know if there's any younger people who might even be tuning in, but I know for me, sex was such a place of guilt. It was such a place of like, if I go and I do this thing, or even if I want this thing, to desire it is going to make me feel so. That's what I remember most about my 20s, man, is being so guilty about sex that abstaining felt like the way to not. It was all about not sinning. It was all about, it was a sin. It was such a heavy sin. And it felt heavier than the other ones for some reason. It was like cursing was like, all right, because, you heard your mama curse, you heard your daddy curse, but you go and have that sex and you on a whole nother level. It was all, sex was like right there with like doing drugs. It was like, and then once you had it, like, when were you going to tell them? And like, how were they going to respond? Were you going to get put out? I remember kids, man, would get like punishment for certain things, making out with a girl and all, like, getting punished for your sexuality. And that can be really confusing, man. And so, if nothing else, I think that as an adult, what I've learned is to put sex in its place. What I've learned is that I can be sexually active without being sexually controlled. I can be sexually driven without driving myself crazy, because it has its place. I can prioritize sex. Sex doesn't have to be something that I have every day, nor does it have to be something where if I don't get it, then I'm mad at the person or I'm mad at myself. But these are because to me, the way I prioritize sex is it is recreation. Sex is something that is a part of my spirit, the way that going to an amusement park is part of my spirit, the way that playing a good game of basketball, it's like sex is fun, and if I can find another person who is fun with, let's have some fun. and so it's a recreational and not a procreation. And so in that way I felt like I had prioritized it correctly. I felt like I had put it in its place. It's like, all right, it doesn't control my life. It's not something that I need. It's something that I want. It's something that I enjoy. And so if I could just find somebody else who can enjoy it and doesn't have any, I call them sexual hangups. That's what my mom always used to say, I don't know why you got so many hangups about this and hangups. I don't even know what that means, but like, you know what I mean? To a sexual hangup is like, I got this thing about sex that I'm trying to stop from doing, or like sex hurt me in this way. Man, a lot of people embrace abstaining. This is a whole nother issue. A lot of people embrace abstaining because of trauma. And so sometimes a big part of the reason they don't want to have sex or not ready to have sex is because sex has caused trauma in their mind, in their body, with their family. Some people are carrying other people's baggage. Their friends got kids out of wedlock. All these different things that produce traumatic, and so some people are walking around with this PTSD, abstinence types. I ain't had sex in 3 years because sex really hurt me. And those, and for a single man, that can be scary. It can be scary to walk into a situation and think that you're abstaining because somebody's trying to get to know you, but really they're abstaining because there is some sexual trauma that they refuse to really deal with on a real level. They're just removing the thing that hurt them. You know what I mean? And so like it feels like it's so many levels for adults, man, that like I didn't feel adults. For people who stop feeling guilty about sex. For people who are still Christians and not feeling guilty about sex and not married.
I was listening to a pastor that said there's a difference between being single and not married. A lot of people who are not married, they are just not married yet, and all they want to do is be married. And those people don't really ever find people. They'll be in sort of serial relationships, and they'll never, they just want to be with someone. It doesn't really matter who it is or why it is. So they're never really happy. And it's important to make sure that you check yourself on whether or not you're single or not married. Because if you're single, then there's a confidence about that. There's an understanding that I am who I am. And I don't need someone else, right? I am who I am without someone else. And, I don't have any experience with abstaining and dating, but last year when Gabrielle and I were having, marital issues and we were on the verge of divorce, there was one moment where, it was one night where we had sex and it just felt so wrong. It was like, it was after maybe a week of arguing and just, frustrations and struggles and, being at each other's throats, but we were still having sex in the midst of it. And one night we had sex and I just felt so just guilty. I felt like I shouldn't have had sex with my wife, and it was weird. And I had thought to myself, it was after a while. I think I had moved out with a friend for like 2 weeks, and then I moved back in, and then we were arguing again, and we had sex, and then this moment I'm like, I think I need to do something. And so one thing I knew I needed to do was move out again. I needed to be done with whatever the fuck. I needed to not have the ability to have sex with Gabrielle. And the only way I could do that effectively was to move out at the time. And then recently a friend had mentioned that she was going celibate. She was just practicing celibacy. And she was, she's gorgeous. And it just was a shock to me. I was like, oh, you're like, that's strange. Just why? And she's like, oh, just trying to clear my thoughts. And she spoke to me about it a little bit. And so when I was in this predicament, I was like, you know what? I should try it, man. I should just do it and really make it happen. And when I did it, I was like, it's not going to work unless I tell Gabrielle, like, because I'm just gonna be like, oh, I don't want to have sex with you, and she's gonna, think all sorts of shit. Like, who the fuck knows what she's gonna think? But so I had to be straightforward with her about what I was doing, and she didn't take it lightly, but she at least agreed. I mean, what was she gonna do? Like, the only other option would be to rape me, and like that wasn't gonna happen. So like, So I did it, and I was like, I'm gonna abstain. I'm gonna not think about sex for 30 days, yo. 30 days. Can I do that? And I didn't know, man. I've always had trouble with sticking to routines, sticking to like workouts and shit like that, and like staying committed to stuff like that, just because I had a very chaotic childhood and moving around a lot, and there's just a lot of moving parts. So I never really had to finish anything. I never had to see anything through. So now when it came to doing this celibacy thing, I'm like, damn, the only thing I've ever stuck with was like being vegan. Like I committed to be a vegan, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then I just stay vegan. But like now I'm gonna do this with sex. Like, is that gonna be something I can actually do for 30 whole days? Like, not think about sex. And the other thing was to cut out porn. Like, no sex, no porn, no sexual thoughts. And then I moved in with a gay friend. So sex was so far removed from my world that all I had to do was think about me and think about my life and getting my shit together, because I didn't want to be in this argumentative mode anymore. I had shit I needed to get done, man. And it's 2019. The year was hectic, and so I did it. And what I realized is that I had so much time now. Yo, like I had so much time, and I would go out and I was confident as shit because I didn't need to leave with anybody. When I would go out to the club, I would just go out and be partying and just have a good time just because I'm out having a good time. Like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck if you don't talk to me. Like, and I had so much more confidence. And tell me why more women were coming up to me. More women were interested in me and attracted to me just because I wasn't like giving away my energy, giving away that life force. Now I had it. I was holding on to it. Now I got that shit. I got the life in me. And that's how my life was. And I had time to think, and I was able to write and just get my life focused. And boy, did I need to get my life focused, because I was going into the most chaotic year that anybody has ever experienced. 2020. Like if I didn't have my shit together, man, I couldn't have survived. And luckily I did this celibacy thing, and it worked. It really worked. It allowed G and I to both refocus, and and just kind of find ourselves again. And then when we came back together, because we didn't have sex for 2 months, which was the longest. Like, I mean, Gabrielle and I had sex all the time. So like, this was the longest we had gone for sure, 60 days, like not touching each other, not being intimate with each other at all. But it allowed us to refocus and recognize that we're actually best friends at the core of it. You know, we are a team, and we rely on each other in a way that is beyond sex. And so our relationship was able to move beyond sex, which I didn't expect that part. I just wanted to kind of reorient myself. I was wasting a lot of time on porn and like just not doing anything fucking productive. I was doing a lot of productive shit because I get a lot of shit done, but I could have been getting a lot more shit done. And so again, I don't have any experience with being celibate, practicing celibacy, and then going into dating people, because that sounds counterproductive to me, because if I'm gonna be celibate, then I don't want to date anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to think about sex. I don't want to think about partnering with somebody, because when I go to a club and I leave with no one, I don't want to feel that depressed feeling that I always used to feel. That shit is so fucking annoying. Every time I leave the club, like, yo, man, like just trying to parking lot pimp and just feeling like a fucking loser because I'm not going home with anybody. But instead, if I'm like, nah, I'm like just gonna do my shit. It's my night. Like, nah, I don't want to go home with you, bitch. Like, nah, I got other shit to do. So like that, it allowed me to just recenter myself, recognize who I was, which was perfect, because my wife needed to know that she has a husband who knows who he is, right? And is confident in who he is. And I need to know that my wife is confident in who she is, and that my wife still loves me despite the fact that we're not having sex, despite the fact that there is no that we will not have that let me call it cheap lustful pleasure, right? That's not working as a temporary band-aid solution. That's the sex is something that's granted when there's actual peace in our relationship, when we actually come to terms, when we're on the same page. But no, we're not going to have sex with each other when we're mad at each other. No, you don't get to touch me when you're mad at me. And I don't get to touch you when I'm mad at you. Right? Instead, we know that sex is heaven. Sex is the thing that we get to if we are good. And I wanted to just address what you had mentioned about the being a god. So a lot of people kind of see this, you have to really imagine, you have to step back and see the full picture, right? When you look at it like a god. So when you look at it like God himself. So this is literally a representation. This is a representation of everything, of what God is, right? So you have one side is black. One side is black. Oh shit, which way is it? This way. So meaning chaos. The other side is white, meaning order, right? And the world is a balance of all of that and those two things. And and so that entire representation can be said, if that's you, oh shit, I can't. So that's you, act, and you're going here, right? So everybody is going from point A to point B, right, in a straight line. This is tomorrow. And this is today. So today, Akron, you're moving towards God tomorrow, right? So you're always connected to God because God is your future, right? God is in your future. He's in heaven, and heaven is tomorrow. So you're moving towards it. You're connected to God. But what you are a God of is everything right now. You have the power right now. You are the God right now. And God, you are subservient to the God that is you tomorrow, that's coming tomorrow. And that is always coming. And he is considered the Father, the great Father, because he's older than you. And as you move towards him, you will get older in age. And so you will look like your father. That's why Simba looks at Mufasa in the sky, right? It's his own consciousness. It's him in the future, but telling himself what he should do now, because that's what your conscience does. Your conscience, the great Father, which you are always connected to, tells you what you should do, and he calls on you to do what you should do. And he exists tomorrow, and he wants to exist. He's trying to manifest himself right now. And so in order for him to manifest himself right now, you have to be like the Son of God, because God is the Father in the sky. So you have to be like the Son of God. And the Son of God is what? Jesus. And Jesus is the God of truth. And so you have to be truthful and speak truth into the world. And then you manifest the great Father. And that's why the kingdom of heaven will be opened unto you if you speak truth out and you follow in Christ's footsteps, because Christ is truth. So you said that, oh man, what was the first religions? The first religions don't matter. What matters is what the rules of the game are. And the rules of the game are written in the Bible, right? Because the Bible is an amalgamation of all the best stories humanity has ever told. And all of humanity is told those stories because God, in their consciousness, they were inspired, just like artists are inspired every day to create. It's God inspired because we create. That's how we create. That's the energy we create from. And you have to recognize that you are a God. You have dominion over everything yesterday, because everything yesterday doesn't exist anymore. You have power and authority over everything that existed yesterday, because now you have the power to create what it will exist tomorrow. And that's always the case. But here's the thing. Now, you don't want to think about yourself as God, but you have to recognize that everybody else is a God too. And they're all connected to God. So you have all these people moving towards the same thing. And if we're all moving towards the same thing, we all create heaven in the center, and we're all connected to God. So God is literally all of this, everything connected by your path forward, because time moves forward always. We're always moving forward, and everybody's always moving forward into one thing. And that's why they say we are all one, because we came from the same thing. For 3.5 billion years, life has been proliferating, and our ancestors have been successful for 3.5 billion years to bring you here. And now you're here, and you can manifest and create and build the heaven and bring heaven. So that's why the prophecy says heaven will be on earth. Zion, the kingdom of heaven, is here on earth. It's not in the sky, right? The heaven for you probably exists in the sky, but for those who will exist tomorrow, it's here, right? Because we will manifest it. Right? We build heaven. We create every day. Every day we build our houses. We make them better. We make technology better. We advance things. We save people. We lift people out of abject poverty. 250,000 people out of abject poverty every day. Right? We're doing that every day. And eventually that's going to be perfect. That's going to be like you can't even touch it. So it's going to, so we will bring about heaven. And the judgment day, when it comes to like judgment day, all of that shit in the sky, man, like that shit, fire and brimstone, like, nigga, our star is gonna burn up eventually. You know what I'm saying? And shit, this whole shit is gonna be blown up. Our planet is gonna be destroyed. The ozone layer is going to is evaporating. And what happens after that? Fire, destruction. So of course the prophecies are true, right? It might not happen in our time, but it's coming. It's going to happen. You know, judgment day is coming. Your end is coming. You know you are going to die. So if your judgment day is coming, you should prepare. You should be the most prepared, right? And so in the Bible, it says the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek is actually better translated as those who have swords, but do not sheath them unless do not unsheath them unless necessary, will inherit the earth, right? And we know who those people are. That's like the masters, the Yodas, you know what I mean? The Jedis, the ones who know how to fight, who could fuck some shit up, but they not gonna do it, right? They're not gonna do it. They're gonna keep the peace because that's what heaven is. You don't get heaven unless you are aiming at peace. You should be aiming at peace always. Now, I could fuck a motherfucker up, and I will pull out the peace if necessary. But I only intend to use minimal necessary force. And that's how you create heaven. And you do that in your marriage, you do that in your life, you do that when you're creating art, right? Like you don't give a lot of, like, if your director's coming over, you know, and you did a scene wrong, you don't want the director to slap the shit out of you and say fuck you and you're fired, right? You want him to give you some feedback. Minimal necessary force. How can we minimally get this closer to the next thing without damaging and destroying the actor? And those are the best directors, and those are the ones who inherit the earth. So it's not the meek and the lone, the shy, and the people who don't do anything. No, it's the people who will not act unless necessary. Be angry and sin not. That's what the Bible says, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. I could be angry all the fuck. I'm so fucking angry. Fuck this shit, man. But I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna go and call you a bitch and say fuck you, cuss you out. I'm not gonna do all of that shit. Like that's the sin, right? And so you know that you're on that straight line, that straight path. And when you sin is a archery term that means to miss the mark. So if you're on a straight path, you miss the mark, you sin. So how do you know when you're sinning? You know when you're sinning because your idea, your projection, your image of the future, right? You didn't get close to it. Whatever you shot at, whatever you did not help you progress towards your goal. And your goal should be as close to heaven as possible. Whatever you think heaven is, whatever the perfect thing for you is, right? And it's peace, it's love, it's kindness, it's generous, it's all of that, right? And that is what you should be aiming towards when you're trying to live a better life all the time. And the thing is, you're always oriented towards that future because you move with time. Everyone moves with time, and that's something that we all agree on. Nobody argues about time. I say, we got to be at 10. We in different time zones, and we still get it right. Because we understand what time is and what time means, and that it moves forward and it waits for no man. So, I'm telling you, so yeah, man, it's when it comes to understanding your place, your potential, your power in the universe, you have to recognize that you're connected to God. You are God. You're part of the Trinity. You're to act as the Son. You're to the Father, who is consciousness, the Son, who is you, and the Holy Spirit, who is Mother Nature, right? You're connected to both of those things. And that can perpetually pulls you forward, and you can go against the grain. But if you go against the grain, you're likely to be sucked into the past. So it only behooves you to get your life right, get yourself oriented properly, and make sure that you're doing everything you can to hit the target and to hit the goal at the end of it.
Man, that was a lot, bro. That was a lot. And, you know, I mean, I hope that you don't never have to go back through all that again, Negro. Because, I mean, so much of that, bro, was just like, what is this Negro talking about? And, but, you know, and like at the same time, it's like, you know, it's like what I love about this show, what I love about what we could do with this show is that, you know, in a lot of ways, your beliefs, though they might be like, I don't even know what to call what you believe, honestly. And it's no shade to you. It's just different. But your beliefs have a lot of like good qualities to them and could produce good people. You know, if a bunch of people were to sign on and just be like, what do I need to learn to have hope, to have courage, to feel redeemable despite my pitfalls, you know, what you're saying about truth and what you're saying about even abstaining and the reasons for it, you know, it makes sense for people and it's hopeful for people and and it could be a good thing to people. It is just at the core of me, it's completely different than what has bring me thus far, which is this insurmountable belief that like a part of being a Christian means that I have purpose, and part of that purpose is to broadcast him, because in him is peace and in him is understanding and in him is all these different things. And I will say that like a lot of it is about faith, because the one thing that I love about God, but I also like have failed to understand, is that a lot of times he doesn't speak back. When we're talking to him, he's not speaking back. So for instance, when we're talking about abstaining and I'm asking God, why do I need to abstain? He doesn't speak back with words. He may just come back with a person. And it's like, well, if you abstain, here is a great person that you can have in your life who wants to abstain. And that's not him speaking to me directly. To me, that's just God being like, okay, if you want an answer, I don't have to say nothing. Let me just show you why. You know, I feel like God is in my life is constantly the God of let me just show you why. You know, it's just like I don't have to whisper in your ear because I said so. I could more than likely I could just put something in your way and be like, if you don't abstain, it's gonna be X, Y, and Z. Now you go ahead and you don't abstain, and like you're gonna end up having a child out of wedlock, and that's gonna change the trajectory of your future. I guarantee it.
Mm.
On to catch an STD, it's gonna scare the crap out of you. It might be some, you know, my dad used to say, you know, don't pick nothing up you can't put down. And like that was a very specific, like herpes and HIV. Like, don't go out and be so careless that you come back home with something that you can never get rid of. And so like for me, listening to my parents and listening to my pastor a lot, my pastor was diligent about speaking to young people as if he had experienced life already, which is something I think that we miss when we think about abstaining. So a lot of times we're talking to people that we haven't been in experiences with. We don't really understand their personal experience when it comes to abstaining from certain things. And to withdraw from something sometimes causes just as much trauma as being in it. And I think that sometimes having a positive response to trauma, though it is a good thing, though it is like, you know, a great way to think. I'll give you a personal example, super brief. When the pandemic started, I wanted to have sex with everything moving because nothing was coming in and nothing was going out. It's not like I could get dressed up and go out and show people why they needed to come get with me.
Right.
And there was nobody hitting me up like, yo, let's go do this. You know, even when I would swipe on my little dating apps, nothing was popping. Everybody was like, either we seeing each other virtually or we not seeing each other. And so within those confines, I began to grow so restless that when I got on the phone with my therapist, you know, which shouts out to black therapists, shouts out to black men who are therapists. We need more black therapists. You know, no shade to no other races, but like, if you are considering being a therapist, there are other black men who want to talk to black men about black men things. And so it would be great if we had more black therapists. But I found one in New York, in Harlem. We were only doing the thing virtually, man. And I go to him, and it's the middle of the pandemic. And he's thinking I'm coming to him about depression. I'm like, no, sir. I'm still trying to figure out how I can be somebody's husband and get away with satisfying my sexual desires. Those were my words to those are the first words to my, he's like, so what seems to be the problem? I'm not having sex. I want to have sex. And though none of the women I meet want to have sex. What's up? Tell me what to do. He's like, okay, nothing about the pandemic. No, I'm fine. Everybody's fine. I don't care. But you know what he said to me? Here's the point of what I was trying to make. You know, I always bury the lead. The point was the therapist, man, got very clear to me about my intentions behind abstaining, not my intentions about sex. Mm-hmm. He said, what are your intentions behind it? What are you trying to do with it? You know, and I was like, well, you know, I just want to have self-discipline and I want to do that. He was like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, do you take a shower? Do you put your clothes on? Do you go? Now I'm looking at your accomplishments on paper and I'm looking at this and I'm looking at that. And like, it seems like you have self-discipline. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not having sex all the time when you're on the set, are you? Like, are you missing shows because of sex? You know, and you know, he was really clear with me that like there was some potholes in what I thought was this huge monster in front of me. And I think we all tend to do that, right? We have a small thing and then we make it into a monster and then we make things to defeat the monster that we made. You know, I made sex into a monster. So then I call a therapist about it and he said, it doesn't sound like you have a problem with sex. It doesn't sound like you really need to abstain. It sounds like what you really need to do is find exactly who you're looking for, because what you keep doing is finding what you're not looking for and having sex with that. And so you think
facts.
You think just because you got it prioritized right, that you can just do it with whoever. But there's a lot more vetting. There's a lot more vetting that needs to happen when it comes to you and sex, because I'll tell you something that I could do. When I was talking to him, I could list out all the things that I wanted in a woman, including how I wanted the sex to be, where I wanted it to be, how I wanted it to be, what I wanted her to look like, all these different things. But I wasn't going out and getting that. What I was doing was going out and getting whatever sex I could from whoever I could have it with. And so that's where abstaining came in for me, because what abstaining meant for me was finding the unique and intricate and wonderful sexual situation that I had yet to experience. He said, my real question to you when it comes to sex is, when is enough gonna be enough? It's not. It's not about abstaining for you. And you know, he probably wasn't speaking from a Christian place, and that's something that I have to deal with. You know, as a person, is that very often I'm not speaking to other Christians, and so their advice to me, just as human beings, is always a bit skewed because I have a very Christian background. You know, my parents were just devout, and I went to church every Sunday and Monday for 100,000 years, until I was 28, at least until I left Texas and could not, and I could, you know, I didn't have to lie anymore about what I was doing on Sunday morning. But I say all that to say, man, that like, sometimes I think, in my mind at least, and this may be true for other people, I make sex a bigger obstacle than it is. And so then when I'm trying to abstain, I make abstaining a way bigger obstacle than it needs to be. Because I'm doing the most to have the sex. And so then I'm doing the most to make the sex good. And I don't have to, if I really seek out and find, okay, and I could list to you some of these things, man, and they're going to sound crazy, but like, You know, one of the things that I really like is porn, right? And so if I'm with a woman who doesn't like porn, you know what I do, man? I let her leave, and then I watch a porn to really get off. And like, this is something that I'm not even really proud of that, man, but it's something that I enjoy doing. It makes me feel sexy, all these different things. It makes me do this face, you know, like it's that other face. You know, and like, that's something that people might not be proud of, but then my person that I call to like help me with my brain, my therapist, this guy I put on this pedestal, and I'm like, oh my God, and he's like, all right, so why don't you just find somebody who like that? And you know, it was such a simple concept, and I was like, well, I also want to have sex with multiple partners. All right, well, find somebody who like to do that. Oh, well, she gotta look like this. Oh, well, I'm sure that those women are out there, and blah blah blah. And it came down to a point of like, you might have to abstain because what you truly want, the thing that's going to make you feel satisfied and make you go to sleep with somebody at night or fall asleep with somebody at night, is way bigger than just you swiping on somebody, going on a date, y'all having a fun little old time, and then y'all jump in the sack. You don't know. You don't know if that's your person. And then the last thing I'm going to say, man, is like, the last point that I want to make about this particular part is like, how much time are you going to put into someone that is not as good as what you want?
Yes, facts, bro. Nigga, I've been telling you this for years, nigga. Since I met you, nigga. I've been trying to get you, see, and I think this might be my fault. I've been trying to get you to raise your standards, but I think I've been making it too shallow. I've been making the concept too shallow, because what I've been trying to get you to do is exactly what you just told me your therapist said. Like, find someone who checks off all the boxes, nigga. Don't be settling for these chicks that don't check off the boxes, bro. Why are you giving them your power? Nigga, that's your life. That's what I'm saying. It's a force of life that you have, nigga. That drive, that sex drive, that shit, nigga, you're giving it away to women that don't they're not worth it, bro. They're not worth it for you. And you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time, bro. You're wasting everybody's time. Everybody's time is wasted because you haven't raised your standards. You haven't gotten to that place where, like, bro, nigga, how you think I found Gabrielle? You think that she just popped up? No, nigga, like, I manifested the shit out of her. That's exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted. And God said, here you go. Exactly what I wanted, son. Not a missing piece. Not one missing piece. No daddy issues, son. Like, bro, you know how hard it was for me to find an attractive woman? Every attractive woman that liked me had daddy issues. Hard daddy issues, bro.
We gotta have a whole talk. We have a whole talk about what that even is.
Yo,
that means so much to so many different.
Yo, people. I mean, but so that was a thing. Like, it could have only happened if I was. Like, I was not happy, bro. I was not happy with settling ever. And it's not about like being shallow, you know. Oh, she ain't too it. No, it's about not giving myself to people. That's you're not the queen. You are not the queen. I'm sorry. I am a king, and I need a queen. I need my queen, not just some queen, not a queen. I need my queen. And I will not settle, I will not stop, I will not rest until I find my queen. And my queen is going to be down for whatever the fuck I'm down for. Because that's my queen.
Queens real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you something about Queens real quick, because I'm watching American Gods. I don't know if you watch American Gods, but...
no, I haven't gotten to it yet.
So there's... Oh, my dude, you got to. First of all, it's black excellence. That's all I'm just gonna say about it. I'm just gonna say that the lead character
producing this show is black excellence, nigga. I've been working on this shit for fucking
I feel you.
forever, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna get into that shit for real.
Yeah, man. And well, I'll say this, man, is that there's a black woman on there, and one of her roles, because I feel like she plays multiple roles, but like she's a black goddess, and she was a queen, you know, she was a goddess and a queen, and in one of the scenes, there's all these different men who are having sex around her, and like that's a part of her essence, a part of her aura, is that she, you know, she invites sex. She's not, you know, this is not the typical black woman who when I say typical, I mean by societal norms, the way that they sort of craft black women and put them in this box, and like, oh, this is black women. She wasn't that, and she wasn't even. She was past progressive. You know, what progressive women is that if you keep progressing, you're gonna end up right where women were. And goddesses, you know, like you got to progress to go backwards to where women's supposed to be. And so here's this woman who is an African goddess and an African queen, and one of her obstacles, one of her adversaries was a king, was another man, a man royalty, because for men who are kings, they always think that a queen is supposed to sit by their side. And what if part of her ruling means that she just rules? And that's just something that I've been turning over in my brain and trying to like not really come to terms with, but like, yeah, I'm a king by my own rights. And as I continue to build my kingdom and add all these different advancements and stuff to my kingdom, I look over across the water and I see a queen doing the same building. And then I think to myself, well, I want to invite her over into my kingdom, you know, or I want to put our kingdoms together. And then what happens when she doesn't? Like, what happens when our interaction is solely based on the space and time that she has to give it? And that's not marriage. And that's not, and do I have to be so compartmentalizing in my brain and so possessive in my brain that I want to and need to join our kingdoms together in order to feel comfortable for myself? You know, what does that say about me, that I need to have these two camps? Some of the hardest relationships I had were with women who didn't want to be in relationships. They love me and they like me and they wanted to be with me, but they did not want a title. They did not want to feel the pressure of commitment.
They weren't for you.
And I don't know if that's what that meant.
That is what that meant. That's exactly what that meant. You're not with them.
I mean, but not being with them might not be because they weren't for me. It might be because my brain was not ready to handle a queen like that. My kingly brain wasn't ready to handle the fact that this woman was not about commitment. She was more about building, and part of her building meant that I could be in her life, but I couldn't be the head of her life the way that you know, many men are taught to be.
If Gabrielle and I met a year earlier or a year later, we wouldn't be together, bro. It wouldn't be for us. Like, nigga, like the reason why our relationship is perfect is because the day we met was perfect. It's because the next day was perfect, and the next month was perfect, and it worked out perfect timing with the situations and the circumstances that were occurring at that time. But had we met even 2 days before, I guarantee you we wouldn't be together, bro. It was the perfect storm. So when I say that those women weren't for you, like, they weren't for you because, yeah, you're right, you weren't mature enough to handle what they were. Like, there's women that I like. Mary, the girl that I pined at, the prototype, I call her the prototype to Gabrielle, because that was the woman who made me see my wife, right? And sometimes you'll get with somebody like that. You'll get with the person that's like, damn, you check off 80% of this shit, but there's that 20 fucking percent that's real tough, and you try, oh, you know, you try to work it out, but it just doesn't work because they're not for you, right? And so I realized, I was like, oh, this is the person I want. And every woman that I dated, I remember you used to call him like he was like, oh, is that Mary? He's like, one time we went out and you were like, so you gonna talk to the girl that looks like Mary or the girl that looks exactly like Mary? And like, cause it was like literally that was now my type, and that was what I was seeing. And it's because I believe now, thinking, you know, like 2021 Ace, I'm like, oh, I was seeing the future. I was seeing my wife. And then I started to be able to build that life because, you know, someone who was sexually open, who was willing to be, who was capable of accepting my honesty and exact, like just me, just 100% me. I never at one point felt compelled to lie. And that was very important to me in my relationships. Finding somebody I never felt like I had to lie to. I never have to lie to you. And sometimes there's those people like, and Mary was extremely fragile, right? In that way, she was very delicate, and I felt like if I told her anything bad, she would snap, or she couldn't face any kind of raw truth. And I'm like just raw truth. That's all I am, you know. I can't turn it off, and so I need to be with somebody who accepts raw truth. Like that has to be a requirement. And as soon as there's somebody that they don't accept raw truth, it's like, it really isn't going to go anywhere. So I stopped calling. I stopped really even putting any effort into it because I know that that's not the person. Like, and my consciousness turns me on to say, no, you already have the person in your mind. You already have what it looks like. They got to be at least this fine, if not more fine.
But yeah, and I hear what you're saying, but I think it's more along the lines of like, what do you think about the Jamie Foxxes of the world, you know, who are like obviously kingly and moving through life at a kingly pace and on a kingly level, but not committing and probably running into women all the time that he could commit. I don't know his personal life. He might not even like women like that, but probably running into people in general that he could marry and have and blah, 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 blah. And then choosing to be just single.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really look at anybody's life, but I would say that, you know, for me, like knowing that I'm going to be famous and, you know, and renowned, that thought terrified me if it happened before I found my person, because I want to build my kingdom with the person. I don't want to have a kingdom and then now I got to see if I can trust you with my kingdom, because you going to own half of this kingdom, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to really make sure that so for me, it was always about balance. Like I want to put just enough into my career that I'm progressing, but I'm not moving, you know, like I'm not moving so fast that my queen couldn't keep up. And I mean, obviously I can't control time and I can't control the circumstances of the world and nature, but like I just put that energy out into the universe. Like, Lord, every day I'm like, Lord, I really want to find my person and I really want to be successful. Like I want to focus on success, but I want to find my person. And like, I need help. I need help balancing this shit. I really need help balancing this shit. And I found that person, and she was in the same career as me, working like just all of that shit, bro, doing the same number of shows at the theater center as me. Like, nigga, every check, bro. But because I was aligned. So I don't know for me in Jamie Foxx, like I would just be very nervous. I would be concerned. Like, I don't know. I don't want to give up my shit to just anybody. They really have to earn that shit. You know, they have to they still have to check off all the boxes. And so if I see a queen over across the way and she isn't about me, then I know she's not for me, because my queen is going to be about me and about this kingdom, and because I got a whole kingdom to manage, motherfucker. And I think of everything like a chessboard. So you going to be making all the moves. I empower you, baby girl, to make all the moves. Move across the board. You going to make moves that the king can't make. I'm still the king. I run this shit. And that's exactly what I'm doing, right? I help my girl build her career, build One Great Vegan, build this empire for her. I give her my rib. That's what the story means, right? Because now we're the same, flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. You have to be of me if you're going to be my wife. If I'm going to cling to you, you have to be of me. The same pieces, the same elements cut from the same cloth. Because otherwise, we're going to be separating like this, because a marriage is an omelet. You put 2-3 eggs together, and once you can't tear that shit apart, or else it's vicious, visceral.
All right. It's 10:01. It's 10:01 here in LA, and I feel like we talked a little bit about abstaining. I feel like we should do a part 2.
Hell yeah,
abstaining, for real. And I just want to say this just before we go or whatever we're about to do, that like I want to get my pastor on this show somehow. I want to get my pastor on this show. I want to get a single woman on this show. I want to get and I'm talking about abstaining, like part 2 of abstaining. First of all, we're gonna do like the actual format: sex, art, and spirituality.
We did do this format, bro. We followed it.
I want to hit it some more though, because I definitely want to talk more about like art and abstaining, and like how people are promoting it, or how people are, because I think we see a lot about not abstaining in art. We see a ton about not abstaining, and I want to highlight some individuals who are specifically showing in their art the benefits, because when I ask everybody what were the benefits of abstaining, I got nothing. or the most that I got was that it was about self-control. And like I said, I met a wonderful woman, man, like 6 days ago, who just straight up showed me that abstaining can be about not doing something that will distract you from getting to know a person, not to abstain from sex in that relationship means that she gets a chance to know for a fact if I really like her. I get a chance to know for a fact if she really likes me, and then sex can be a part of the enjoyment of us liking each other. And as simple as that sounds, it has taken me 30 plus years to embrace that. And in 2021, I met her like 3 days before New Year's. 2021, I think, is like the first year that I want to start practicing it. And so I also just want to come back over the next few weeks and just check back in and be like, I'm still abstaining. and like, and talk about it a little bit. And honestly, I hope that doesn't happen, man. I'll be honest. I hope that we get into a relationship and sex becomes a healthy part of our and wonderful part of our relationship. If that means that it needs to happen at marriage for her, that's a whole other abstinent bridge that we gotta cross. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, part 3 until marriage. What the hell do I do? Help me out. But yeah, man, like I love it's 2 things that I love about what we just talked about. And one was that from a single man's perspective, you don't have a ton of insight as to how abstinence will work before dating. And I think that that's extremely important for the single men out there, especially the ones that are over 30 and really trying to find somebody. And then I think we can dive deeper, man, into like art, man. The thing that we love so much, this music and these sneakers, and I'm talking about clothing designers. I want to know everybody who's promoting some type of abstinence in their work, and I want to know what they're talking about, the benefits are of it, from it, and I want to know why, And it doesn't have to be just sex too, because I feel like we talked about sex for so long as this thing that we abstain from, but many of us are abstaining from sugar and
Some of us abstaining from, like certain places that we would go, drinking, just all these different things that we are like, especially it's a new year, bro. And like people got all these resolutions and most of them are about abstaining.
Yeah.
Especially since we've been at home eating chips and having, random sex with ourselves and watching porn and stuff. Random sex with ourselves. People talk, man, I was talking to people about abstinence and I started hearing stories about, well, man, I fell asleep jacking off. And like, that was how I, started abstaining because I just kept putting myself to bed rather than looking for sex, and I was like, I'm talking to a dude. Oh my God. So in a lot of ways, I know that sex is like a big thing when it comes to abstinence, but let's find some other thing. Let's talk about it some more in other ways. And man,
let's do it.
At the end of the day, I do think it's a good thing. That's just my stance. I'm just gonna stamp it right now. It is a good. I wish we had a sound effect for like boom. Just like it is. It's
what we got. What we got? Abstinence is a good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining Akron and I on The Devil's Advocate. Remember, these are private conversations, and you have the pleasure, you have the privilege of being able to join us. And so shoot us a text, send us a DM if you agreed with our flavors of the week. If you got an acting reel, please send it. But roasting will occur. If it's a bad reel, we are going to go in on it. So make sure you send us some shit.
On your email. I'm not going to go in on you publicly. I respect you as a performer, but in your email, I might like professionally clown you a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week on The Devil's Advocate. Peace.